Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chopra, for being here. You just had a data breach at your agency, is that correct?
We have an insider threat that transferred on an unauthorized basis some emails to their personal email account.
And you were in charge when this happened?
Of course, yes.
Okay. And this wasn't an attack from outside your agency. It came from inside of your agency. Is that correct?
That's right. Our systems were not penetrated. It was not a hack in that way, but we had an employee who worked for us who sent those emails.
The data for 256,000 consumers was breached. Is that correct?
Yeah, we looked through the emails.
But is my number correct?
I believe that's right. Yes, but it was not their. It was not any social security number, birth dates, any of that.
It was their data, though, right?
It was the institution's data, but it had their name, so that's important, and it's a huge problem.
Yeah, it is. You didn't tell the customers that this happened to, the consumers, for 2 months. Is that correct?
Well, we did not have the contact information for them, so we had to work with institutions to figure out who to contact, and we wanted to work in partnership.
But you didn't tell them for 2 months?
Well,
is that correct?
We started the notifications, I believe, last month, but again, we did not know the contact information for them. All we had was certain data elements, and we followed the cybersecurity OMB guidance to make sure that
you can understand, can you not, why consumers might be a little concerned about you having their information. Is that correct?
Oh, of course. The issue of protecting personal...
Hey, guys. Welcome back to Liberty Trigger. Today's story is one that honestly made my jaw drop. It's about a Senate hearing where the director of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, that's the CFPB, got grilled over a data breach and some pretty strange new rules about what banks can ask small business owners. Let's get right into it.
I ask you about Section 1071. Your rule on small business data collection. Under your proposed rule, when a bank loans money to a small businesswoman or a small businessman, you would require the bank to ask that customer first about the customer's race. Is that right?
So just to be clear, the proposal you reference, that has been changed since and is now into the final. The congressional requirement, and we are under a court order, requires race.
Don't filibuster me, Mr.
No, it does require race.
Just answer my questions, okay? Is your rule going to require banks to ask the customer about their race?
So that is in this.
No?
That is in the statute. And
about their race, or is your rule going to require the bank to ask the customer about their ethnicity?
So just to be clear, in the sample form, it allows the borrower to self-identify or refuse.
Just answer my question.
No, I'm trying to be clear.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Your rule would require a bank to ask the question of a small business person, what's your race? What's your ethnicity? What's your sexual preference? Are you gay? Are you a woman? Now that's you can bubble wrap this all you want, but that's what your rule does. Now the customer, particularly in a small town, is going to go, whoa. What's my sexual preference have to do with a loan? And the customer can say, I don't want to answer. But then the bank you're requiring the bank to tell you that they wouldn't answer. And all of this data is going to go to your agency. And we don't have the slightest idea how you're going to use it, except you say you're going to publish it.
Well, we will not get any names at all.
But you're going to have data sets so that it's possible. You can't tell me it's not possible to have this information known. Why do you want all this
I
information?
don't.
Why do you want to know what a small business woman's sexual preference is?
Okay, that's a mischaracterization.
No, it's not.
Of it. Yeah, it is. We
No,
have
it's not.
congressional objectives.
No, it's
We
not.
had to implement it. People can self-identify. There is no personal.
Why do you
information
want to know what a small business woman, let's say in a town of 20,000 people, going to her local bank to borrow money? Why do you want to know what her sexual preference is? What business is that of yours?
We sought to implement what the
What
congressional
business
requirements
is that of
are.
yours? What a small businesswoman does in her bedroom? Who
Again,
appointed you Pope?
again, people are able to self-identify if they wish.
You're
to
making
refuse, they
them.
can. We are not making.
Yes, you are.
No, we're not.
And
It's
if they
very
don't
clearly-
answer, the bank has got to tell you. And we have no idea how you're going to use this information.
Well, I'm
You can't-
I'm happy to
Director
meet with you
Chopra,
about it further.
Director
That's
Chopra.
not. I don't believe that's an.
Director
You can't
Chopra, please.
assure us-
Senator Kennedy, Director Chopra, answer one more time, and then I turn it to Senator Warner, who is on.
Am I
Just
over,
like
am I over again?
Yeah, you're way over again, and I always let you, but I'm not going to let you go 3 minutes over with the same question 8 times, Senator.
Well, if
Director
he'd
Chopra.
answer it, they'd
So
probably-
just
Director
like,
Chopra.
just like the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act, there's other ways where there's requirements from Congress to collect data. In this situation, we took a lot of feedback to try and make it less intrusive, specifically based on the concern you're raising. There will not be individual consumer names sent. We can talk further about it, but we tried our best to implement the congressional directive faithfully and consider all of these issues.
So here's what happened. The CFPB recently had a data breach, but this wasn't some hacker from overseas. Nope, it came from inside the agency. An employee decided to send thousands of sensitive emails to their personal account without permission. That's an insider threat, not an external hack. And because of that, the information of over 256,000 consumers was compromised. Now, the director, Rohit Chopra, says there were no social security numbers or birth dates in that data, just names and financial institution details. But come on, names linked with financial data? That's still serious. And here's where it gets worse. The agency waited 2 whole months before notifying people or institutions that their information had been exposed. 2 months. Imagine that being your data, sitting out there while you have no clue. If a private company did that, they'd be facing lawsuits within days. But when it's a government agency, we just get an oops. Now, after the senator pressed him on that, the conversation turned to something else, a new CFPB rule called Section 1071. This rule basically requires banks to collect demographic data from small business loan applicants. So when a small business owner applies for a loan, the bank has to ask questions like, what's your race? What's your ethnicity? Are you male, female, or something else? And in some versions, even what's your sexual orientation? Now, Director Chopra says these questions are optional. People can choose not to answer. But here's the thing. Even if you don't answer, the bank still has to report that you refused. So basically you can opt out, but your opt-out becomes data too. That's where a lot of people, myself included, start saying, hold up, why is the government collecting this kind of information in the first place? The idea is to track discrimination in small business lending. And okay, that sounds good in theory. But the same agency can't keep its own data secure. How can anyone trust them to handle even more sensitive information? And let's be honest, if you're in a small town, sitting across from your local banker, and they suddenly have to ask about your gender or sexual orientation just to process your loan, that's uncomfortable. It's awkward, and it's not clear how that actually helps protect anyone from discrimination. This all boils down to one big issue: trust. If government agencies keep losing control of data, why should we let them collect even more of it? I'm all for fairness and equal opportunity. We all are, but we've got to find a smarter way to do it. One that doesn't involve collecting personal details that could easily end up in the wrong hands. Because at the end of the day, privacy isn't a partisan issue. It's a human issue. Once your data is out there, it's gone. And the idea that a federal agency can just shrug off an insider breach like it's no big deal, that's not acceptable. So here's my question to you. Should agencies like the CFPB even be allowed to collect this kind of demographic data? Or should we draw the line when it comes to our privacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you care about government accountability, transparency, and protecting your personal information, hit that like button, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe.